And welcome back to the bonus scenarios in Steam Prison Beyond Steam for Jereme, ladies and gentlemen. This once more you may involve now, Doc Wildcard. Gonna be doing Dream's epilogue now. It's most interesting to see where this goes, and now I'm not sure what game I'm gonna play next. Possibly go back to Monster Road Trip. I'm not sure, but yeah, let's see what this does. Interesting. The palace, okay then. I'd establish the new rituals that Cyrus has returned to Katie. Each morning, time allowing, I will teach her our system of reading and writing. Threading words and weaving tales is a joy for us both. But we'll probably be more accurate to say we're teaching each other. I learned a great many things from her opinions and sensibilities, all of them broadened by a narrow worldview. Here, I brought you something. It's no innate scroll, desiccated by time and the wind. Its surface was delicate and had been treated with the utmost care. It looks so old. Indeed, this is an example of ancient writing. Ancient writing? I still don't understand your modern system. Even so, I think you'll find it interesting. I don't fully understand it myself, but I enjoy studying it. And Charlie Golf? Yeah, cool. Looks good. Nice. Kind of surprised she's back in her Canadian boy outfit, even though she's just visiting, apparently. Though I suppose it is better suited for the desert area that she's in, because otherwise she'd be sweltering in her normal clothes, I imagine. It's a curious sensation, like touching a part of something I could never experience, even if heaven and earth were turned upside down. The open scroll is densely packed with ancient text. According to our studies, all seem to be a historical record. There exists a modern translation, but I prefer to read the originals whenever possible. Translations are no more than an approximation of the original words. Interesting. I wonder if that was indeed how this was in the original, because this was translated, and if that's how it was here, it's difficult to capture the culture and context in which it was written. Translators inevitably insert their own interpretations and subjective influences. Cyrus listened intently as I spoke, eyes fixated on the scroll. This is really hard. I can see how it read resembles your modern writing system, but the grammar seems to be different. It's curious, when you speak, I can understand you perfectly fine, yet within your own country, a written language has changed so much throughout its history. There is a legend along those lines. Long ago, when heaven and earth were still one, people of the desert lived with the gods. The gods gave them the written word to humans as an emblem of their knowledge, symbols born of the wind and the sand. The writing of the wind represented wisdom, while the writing of the sand represented passion. The country's written word is a reflection of the gods who lived there. The reason our writing differs from that of other countries is because different gods watched over those places. Writing evolves over time. Since primitive writing of the past was bestowed directly by the gods, the genesis never changes, even as it grows more refined. It's through their enduring gift that we gain knowledge, connect with the rest of the world, and are able to express ourselves. People of the desert learn and respect the writing of the other nations. We also respect our own country's writing with its rich history passed down through the ages. But understanding and respecting its meaning and value, people of the desert connect themselves to the God's will, to deepen their bond to the peoples of the other world. Thus, the power of the written world truly is a gift from the gods. Well, that's our country's official position, right? Huh? What I told you is a fiction created by a wise person from bygone era, hoping to bring consistency to our language. I suppose this is the essence of an oral petition. History is all about deciding meaning after the fact, whether by chance or necessity. But, at any rate, I'm grateful that records like this were kept so I could follow it. Thus it is unbiased, this cruelty. Those who fall buried by sand, their footsteps raised by the wind. Everything returns to nothing. If someone had not written these words down, even history itself would be lost. The scroll's a miracle, gift. King Jereme, what have you brought me? I don't see anything wrong. It isn't that exactly, but I don't know how you can be so cavalier with something that's so valuable. It's pronounced cavalier, maybe it's cavalier. I'm not sure. It looks like it might stem from French, and I know in French they sometimes have this is formed an A sound. I'm scared to even touch it. Sure. You're a wise and sensible person. I see no problem. Don't know about that. Oh no? Well, maybe I am now. So I'd like to think. Perhaps elaborate? I know I am. Curious about that myself. Well, in the past I used to be reckless. Rushed into things without thinking. Ever since I became a police officer, what you call guards in this country, I've learned to give thinking of the little greater priority. But sometimes when I'm flustered, my body reacts on its own. Would you please keep that scroll far away from me? It's real awful if something happened to it. Yes, as you wish. Reminds me of the Princess Bride, which despite its ultra girly sounding name, is actually not a chick flick. It is actually one of the great cult movies, and it's actually a lot of fun. It was Ken Hughes, I think that's how his name's pronounced. The same guy who played Dr. Lawrence Gordon in Saw, and I'm trying to remember who else. I remember Andre the Giant was in there, but I forget who else was in there. But it's as I said, it's one of the great cult movies. It's the thing from which Inconceivable stems. That's from that. That was like the villain's like sort of code word, or not code, catch word, as opposed to catchphrase. You would say that a lot. I'm sorry, I must have. Yeah, because as you wish is said by the hero in that story. That's like his catchphrase. Is as you wish to the princess. I'm sorry, it must have gone to great trouble to bring it here. Did enjoy hearing the legends you people tell about written language at least. I see. So to you has been worthwhile. Indeed, I've wondered often where language originally stems from, like in real life. How we evolved from, I imagine, probably just grunts and such to actually speaking words that everyone understands that speaks the various languages of the world. I imagine some words probably came from like onomatopoeia, but others I wonder about how they came to be. Like a clash, for instance. Like when two or more parties clash in combat, I imagine was probably from the sound of metal hits metal, that kind of thing. But like where other words stem from, like I saw a thing about hero stems from an ancient Greek word. I just saw it online just today. I'm trying to remember what the word was. Give me a second here. I'll be right back. Yeah, it stemmed from heroes, which originally came from kleos, which was, let me see here, which meant glory or fame in ancient Greek, and heroes meant protector. Kleos was heroes and heroes. Kleos and heroes were actually two different terms, but heroes meant protector, but how did that come about is what I want to know. I'm thinking probably Herodotus, who had penned the report of the 300 Spartan soldiers. But that begs the question, where did his name come from? And that kind of thing. So many questions about the beginnings of language. Listening to you tell your story, I couldn't help but think of my father back home. She never used to talk about her father before. I suspect because she thought the topic would be upsetting to me. These days she spoke freely. I was glad she did. Someone who never had a good relationship with his father. I took great interest in the smallest of details, things she would consider utterly trivial. He always used to tell me bedtime stories when I was little. Bedtime stories? Is that a common practice in our country? It depends on the family, but yes, bookstores sell all kinds of picture books meant for reading aloud to your children. Come to think of it, was my father who first taught me how to read. I see. Interesting to learn such things from one's family. It's not just a writing system. Our views of family completely different too. Get the impression that the mothers in the house are more protective than their children most. Yes, I doubt your situation is unique. It sounds like it's typical of your people's culture. Although everything I know about your country is what I have learned about from our discussions. It seems to be a place where each new life is lovingly cared for and nurtured, as it should be, that's the way things should be. But significance is difficult. For a long time, it's customary to call them by numbers rather than names until they reach the age of 10. Numbers? You mean like 1 or 2? Exactly. The less they could go attached to a number than a name, don't you think? I cannot speak for its effectiveness, but the idea is to learn less than past grief if the child passed away. There were some children who didn't even get numbers, particularly frail. What? Yikes. Particularly frail ones who be abandoned as his offerings to the gods with the hope that child would be born strong and healthy. That just sounds terrible. I know, right? Indeed, it is insulting to invoke the gods for one's own inconvenience, abdication of duty. The king meant a great nation to rectify this practice. Child abandonment was made illegal. To this day, that was strictly enforced. Okay, that's good to know. Where's the sin being born small? Those frail in body can still become wise in spirit. Exactly. Do not think you can achieve elsewhere through hard work. We have the foundation upon which this country stands. To receive the gift of life here is nothing short of a miracle. So there are still parents who rob their relationships of the future. That man was never a father to me, but his undeniably father used this country. I can only hope to be as great as king as him. Are you just following in his footsteps? Things are constantly changing. Instead of trying to copy the past, isn't it important to understand the present to deal with the unique challenges it offers? Maybe you have become like thinking both for yourself and for the country to continue on. But please don't forget, a king is trying to point to his own beliefs and values and forge his own path. True. Well, if there were such things as kings. But yeah, a leader in general is to do that. As long as it's nothing against the leader's own people. It's fine to take inspiration from the rulers of the past, but try not to lose sight of yourself. You're the leader of King Abel now, King Jereme. You and nobody else. I'm totally bewildered to see my own reflection in your own clear, shining eyes. Love confusion will soon wash away my relief. As though I'd been wandering through eternal darkness, when Cyrus's words provided me with a guiding light out of the small, illuminating the paths, distant ideals I thought were unreachable. The unease I'd been expecting for so long suddenly turned to brilliant hope. Finally, I found the answer I've been looking for, but it was difficult to put into words. You are always teaching me things I could never have realized on my own. You have helped me to understand that I have been living in the late King's shadow. Hear your advice and forge my own path. I will re-examine myself, and positive and change with the times. Path illuminated by your words is new to follow. Thank you, Cyrus. But my head sounded etching your words into my mind. Cyrus's wisdom was like a distant flame, beacon in the darkness. For the first time, the future that had once felt like an empty abyss began to look a little less daunting. Huh. Nice. Well, that's going to be the end of this playthrough for a while, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure where I'm going to next. But, yeah, if you dig what I'm doing, please consider subscribing, and I'll sit back fairly well.